Over the last 6 months, I set a challenge for myself to build 6 different habits consistently each day to then help formulate what would be the best habit for someone to start with when they're trying to develop themselves further as a person. And in this video, I'm going to give you the best habit that I have used over the last 6 months and why this is actually the best out of them all. So let's get into it.
Building great habits isn't an easy task. With all the distractions we have in our day-to-day, sticking to these can be challenging. I set myself this goal to see if 6 habits simultaneously was even possible, and if you can actually reap the rewards from doing something like this.
Welcome in everyone, my name is Andy and I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come and hang with me and all of these wonderful people tuning in to this video. I really appreciate it. If you would like to join the Monday Mindset Club, where we send out weekly emails on how to start crushing your mindset, your habits, and more, with a ton of opportunities coming along the way, the link is down in the description. I would love for you to be a part of that and pushing yourself forward. Who doesn't want a win-win? Habit building is a lot easier than it needs to be, but just like everything else, we make it a lot more complicated than it needs to be, end up sucking at it for so long and then never actually forming good habits and just maintaining the poor ones that we've kept for the last 10, 20, even 30 years for some people. There were 6 different habits that I chose to form over this 6-month period. And that was fitness and health, journaling, meditation, visualization, damn it, what another 2? Reading and podcast listening. That was the 6. That was the 6 habits I decided to build over the last 6 months and done them every single day in order to see which one was the best for someone starting habit building. I have formed more habits since then and since starting that journey. Like, I was doing university work every single day for the whole semester that I could actually do them and more. So there is some other habits added onto that have been great for me personally, but they're not the ones we're going to talk about today. The reason that I chose these habits was through the research that I'd done prior to ever starting anything like this. All of the blogs, the YouTube videos and more talked about these habits being the ones the millionaires use, the billionaires use, the ones who actually are productive during the day. In reality, all of the habits are great if you actually want to build them for yourself, but they don't often work well enough if you're not having that alongside something else. Something my friend asked me the other day is, why do I get up at 6 a.m? Told him some of the reasons that I got up early in the morning and some of the reasons I wanted to get my day started. And a lot of it came to being able to work on my business and actually have the social life I want to have. But he doesn't have a business. He doesn't have that thing he wants to work on externally. So when he finished university, there was just no real reason for him to get up that early to perform habits for 10, 20 minutes in the morning and then having nothing to do from 6:20 until 12 o'clock, where people would be wanting to get out and actually do something for their day. It was a really interesting point to me because of that habit and actually building it. There was a product alongside the reasoning for building these habits. Getting up at 6 a.m. allowed me to work on my business and university work and still have a social life outside of all of that. Choosing to work on my morning routine set me up for the day to actually be successful and productive in the things I needed to get done on my priority list. For someone who doesn't have that sort of stuff externally, getting up to do that actual morning routine doesn't really work in the same way. Your habits shape you into the person you are becoming. It's more than just, this is the habits I have. They affect your personality, your decision making, it shapes your lifestyle, and so much more. People waste incredible amounts of time on bad habits, which forces them into a corner when they have to actually work on something that matters, and then the imbalance comes when they can't actually go out and do the things that they enjoy because they've wasted so much time with their bad habits and then have to do the thing needed to be done 2 weeks ago. Whereas if they'd formulated better habits, they were able to do that thing 2 weeks ago, have the time to do the thing that they enjoy, and making a happier life. Does that make sense? Not focusing on these now can cause a lifetime of effects that you might not actually see in your day-to-day. See, you have cues in your brain that when something happens, you want to do it. It could be as simple as seeing a controller on your desk and you pick it up because you know you're going to play games when you do that. The cue in your brain is seeing the controller on your desk, and that means you're going to play games. If that cue is there for long enough, our brain forms the habit of this is what's going to be done after we see the cue. This is where negative effects can affect many areas of your life if this cue is constantly repeated for the negative things that we don't actually want to be doing. My chair keeps squeaking and I need to get it sorted. Holy crap. I'm thinking about doing a ranking system in the future where I rank some of the habits that I've built and go more in depth with each of them as to why they were more beneficial than others. But today we're just going to be focusing on the one that was the most beneficial out of them all, to keep this video shorter and get straight to the point with what you actually want to know. So what was the best habit over the last 6 months? And the answer was reading.
I never used to read. For the 4 years since I left high school, the only book I would ever pick up was the Harry Potter series, and even at that, I would get bored when trying to do it for extended periods of time. However, there were a few key factors that changed my perspective on all of this.
I know some of you have seen the videos on self-development books and business books and finance books and how they're a bunch of crap and all they do is they tell you lies and everything beyond the sun, and I get that. In reality, all of it's true. They are a bunch of crap if you don't take action on them. The power of action is the key to all of this, and everything actually you do in life. It's not about how many books you read, how many videos you watch, how many podcast episodes you listen to. It's about what you actually fucking do. You do not read for the sake of reading or saying, yes, I read. You read for the experience of learning what others have done, potentially accelerate your growth, and actually take action to gain your own experience and understanding of how things work within anything. If you've done anything before that has taken you more than 6 months to achieve, you'll know what this is. You have to consistently take action in order to get there. Take something as simple as going to the gym. You go to the gym and one day you're expecting to be this incredibly massive person, achieving all your goals, eating healthy again, but it just doesn't work like that. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes a routine and structure to actually get to where you want to go. Watching YouTube videos gives you an understanding of some other things that you could try to target different areas and different muscles, and then you go to the gym and actually try them. The difference that a lot of people do in regards to their business, their mindset and more is they watch these videos, get a false sense of motivation and then never take action. And why I feel there's so many people who complain about self-development and productivity channels is because of this. I'm going to try to make this channel as honest as I possibly can when I do everything that I do. These 6 months weren't easy, and it wasn't simple to build these 6 habits consistently together, as you should usually only focus on one to build that foundational habit. There was days where it felt challenging and days where I felt that I didn't actually want to do it anymore, but I knew that this would help me become better and eventually help you do the same. This channel is dedicated to helping you become the best version of yourself, but that starts with taking action, and if you're not willing to do that, then stop watching the video. This is why the people who flex that they read 100 books in a year don't cater to me. I don't give a shit if you've read 500 books in a year. What have you actually taken from that experience? Because those who read the 100 books have probably lost 99% of the information they've read in those books, as they've been so quick to just skim over everything that is actually valuable. The best thing that I've found is choosing books that actually matter to your near future self. And what I mean by that is the things that are affecting and impacting you in your life right now are the books that you should be focusing on reading. There's nothing wrong with having a mountain of books on your shelf ready to be read, because sometimes it's just not the right time to read said book, but it could be in the future. I have found that the books that I've gained the most knowledge from are the ones in which I was ready to learn and take action on the experiences that I was taught through these books. Atomic Habits was one of the first books that I read, and was read at a time where I felt my habits were slipping. I felt that I lost control of the effects that habits built for me, and helped me shift that into a new mindset. The Miracle Morning, a time where I was never getting up early, and I wanted to change that. I wanted to be a part of the 6 AM club and actually start my day in a productive way. In the 4-hour work week, a time where I wanted to be able to shape my life in the way that I saw fit, and not just becoming a part of the rat race for something that I never wanted to do in my life, but actually making an impact while also choosing what I want to do, to live the life that I choose. There's a pattern to all of this. Each time that I read these books was a time that I was ready to take action on the experience that I was learning through them. I didn't read a book for the sake of reading a book or saying that I read more books than someone else in a year. I read the books that were actually going to transform my future experience because I was going to take action on what I learned from the book. Something I learned from the Miracle Morning and that I have actually used on everything that I've done now is every time I finish a book, I go and read it again for the second time instantly. There's no question about it, and I will not be moving on to another book until I've read it a second time. I take notes on each chapter that I learn from, use active learning and spaced repetition on the things that I learn in each chapter, and actually take action to gain my own experience from the books that I read. I could have made any habit number one in this video, but in reality, learning from the best, accelerating your own growth, and using that as your own experience is going to be the number one way to ever achieve anything you want to achieve, potentially in a faster pattern than you would have at the start. I never used to read, and the only book that I ever had read was the Harry Potter series. But choosing to formulate that habit was easy because I started from the foundation. I read one page of a book for around 2 months before I ever actually picked up a book and started to read more. I built a foundation of becoming a reader. I found myself becoming that identity. The person I wanted to be was someone who read. So I started with one page of the Tribe of Mentors book and read what other people who were successful had to say on a variety of areas. That was when I found Atomic Habits and then moved on to the Miracle Morning, and I'm now currently reading the 4-Hour Workweek. Over this 6-month period, have I physically read many books? No, but I have learned more in these 6 months than I had in the previous years of my life because I actually took the time to dive into what they were meaning. I went on YouTube and learned from what other people took from the book. I read blogs to see what they took from the book, took my own notes and actually took action on things that were actually mentioned in the book, instead of saying, I'm a reader now. That's it. Quick succession for anything in your life usually isn't the reality. If someone says they can transform your whole life in 2 days, it's not really the case. Building the foundations takes about a month. And once you build the foundations, that's when you start to slowly progress into that identity. Something I'm working on now is to actually come up with a form of habit builder course that you can actually do that in 30 days. And I know people are always raging about others making courses and trying to make a living. It's disgusting. How dare they make a living? But if I had stuff like this in the past on how to actually form better habits for your life, you do it in a heartbeat. The thing is, with anything you want to do in your life, it's going to take time and dedication for you to do so. Everyone has their own experiences, so has to work it out in their own way. If you can get guidance and help along the way from some of the most successful people in the world, or you can get accountability from those you actually trust, you are well on your way to improving yourself way quicker than someone who just flaunts about like they're this big person who's achieved 100 books of reading in 1 week. Habit building is so powerful in a variety of ways, and we've already covered quite a lot of these in this video alone. There's so much to learn from habit building, good habit building, and actually removing and eliminating the bad habits. All videos that you can see on this channel if you actually want to listen to them. But I would advise you that I want you to take action instead. If you are here to just consume the content and never do anything with it, it's probably not for you. I want you to become the person you intended to become. Someone who actually takes notes and actions on the videos that are created here. For other videos and blogs that you read in the future, it's about your life and the action that you take towards it. Don't allow someone else to live the life of their dreams while you just sit back and watch because you think you can't do it. This is why I'm documenting so much of my journey, because I want to show you that this came from nothing. It started from zero, and this is the whole creative documentation of this journey. I fully believe I'll get to where I want to get to, but when that time comes, you will know that it did not come from an overnight thing. It will come from decades of work of me building this up, becoming more knowledgeable, and helping people do the same. This is what it's all about. And I hope that you've taken something from this video about why reading is actually so critical and important for your life. These last 6 months have been incredible and have set the foundations for me to build habits over the long run. I'd already built habits over a long period of time beforehand, but building all of these together as one has been one of the most beneficial journeys of my life so far. If you have any questions in regards to any of them or any other suggestions that you have for the future, I would love to hear them. And I want to take a second to thank all of the patrons for continuing to support me in making these videos. Have a fantastic day.